Quarter number 2 set to go here from Yager Stadium. Miami leading Western Michigan 3-0 our score. Luke West, Poley, Patrick Holland with you here. Zach Rengers alongside as well. RedHawks got it, 2nd and 10 from the Western 43. 3 receivers left. Gabbert takes it, he'll pitch it out to Keon Mosey in the backfield. A ton of white jerseys around him, and he is gobbled up well behind the line of scrimmage. It'll be a loss of 4 yards on the play, and it'll set up a long 3rd down for the RedHawk offense.
Yeah, 3rd and 14 for your quarterback who's coming off an injury is not less than ideal, but let's see what Brett Gabbert's made of.
So it'll set up this 3rd down and 14. Brett Gabbert, a guy who has thrived in situations just like this traditionally, but we have not seen him in quite some time. 2 receivers to each side in the shotgun. Gabbert gets the snap, looking to throw. Fires it far side, and that one falls just short and complete, intended for Mac Hippenhammer. Hippenhammer had his man beat by a couple of steps, but that one not on the money from Gabbert. And the RedHawks are going to bring on the punt team.
Yeah, similar to the 3rd down play, it seems like the left side of the line's having some leakage come through, and it caused them.
6'1", 200 sophomore out of Chicago, Ray Guy, watch list. He will boot this one away, looking to pin the Broncos deep. Catch is made at the 14-yard line, and Jalen Walker comes screaming in to blow up that return. It was Anthony Sambucci back there deep, not a usual return man for Western Michigan, and he might have lost a yard on that one.
If you're Miami, you love to see that type of effort from your starting wide receiver on special teams, coming down there hitting a guy like that.
We are thrilled to welcome everyone to our family.
Jalen Walker, Miami veteran. He's been here a long time. This year pre-COVID, he's had some injury issues over the past couple of years. Another one of those guys that has been here a lot longer than 4 years.
Yeah, but I think that type of effort right there, it does translate and it trickles down to the younger guys, seeing somebody like that play that hard.
Jalen Walker, a guy that was named one of their players of the year a few years ago. Rest of his start from their own 15-yard line. Pat, only 3 points to show for Miami's performance so far, but got to be somewhat happy with how they've played, especially on the defensive side of the football.
Yeah, I think so. I think both defense and special teams have really done their part. Offense, the first drive was really solid. That was something that looked like it was on script. They were really humming. Since then, it's been a couple drives of, some stalling, some errant throws here and there, some leakage on the offensive line. But I think it's all correctable mistakes. These are not, massive turnovers and anything like that. You can fix what's going on right now.
303 yards per game for the RedHawk offense is the lowest total in the MAC. Of course, though, that's predominantly from an Avion Smith-led offense, not a Brett Gabbert-led offense. Miami was a team that you would regularly see last year, upwards of 450 yards of total offense per game. And it's really just not been there since Gabbert's exit. They only had 189 last week in a loss on the road against Bowling Green.
Yeah, I think, again, you're transitioning from Avion Smith for, majority of the season here to Brett Gabbert, who, we know what he has, but it's going to take time. This isn't, you just bring him right back out and he goes back to playing at the level he can. It's going to take a little bit of time for him to get himself back in the game.
And it's almost difficult, too, because it seemed like the offensive scheme had kind of finally started to shift to more of Avion Smith's style, and now you're thrown right back into the Gabbert show. And a quick turnaround with just a week to practice in this style of offense that you thought you were going to go into the season with and then kind of gave up on.
Yeah,
you're back to it.
Yeah, Luke, ideally you'd want a bye week to try to, get some time and maybe make some tweaks to the scheme, but, within a week you have to make some quick changes.
RedHawks will have a bye week in a couple of weeks. They'll be at Akron next week and then a bye the week after. Marion Rabowski in at quarterback for Western Michigan, going to fake the handoff and keep it himself. He kind of trips on his own legs in the backfield and falls forward for a gain of 1. A slam of the hand on the turf there from Marion Rabowski. Redshirt freshman frustrated. Matt Salopek in on the tackle for the RedHawks.
Yeah, I think right now if you're Miami, the tight ends and the H-backs are taking you to where the play's going. Typically a lot of these pulling plays, these counters, traps, I follow the tight end. They're typically leading to where the ball's going.
Trayson Bourget back in. Shotgun formation. He'll fake the handoff, throw far side. Pass is caught by Galloway. He will scamper forward for a couple extra yards after catch, forced out of bounds, a couple yards short of the first down marker. coverage on the play there from Nolan Johnson. We've called his name a lot.
Yeah, and Nolan Johnson's kind of in an awkward position there. He's playing, 5 yards off of a guy, but they're getting these quick access throws that put him in a 3rd and 3, a 3rd and 1. Miami might have to maybe tweak and play a little bit more press man.
3rd down and 3. Bourget with 3 receivers left and 1 to the right. He's going to hand this one off to Tyler, who will burst forward through the line, and he will pick up enough for the first down out to the Miami, or rather the Western Michigan 27. And it's another 3rd down conversion. That's been a real bright spot for Western Michigan offensively here this afternoon. After going 4 for 10 last week, they also went 0 for 3 on 4th down. The late down scenarios just were a mighty struggle for Western Michigan.
Thus far through the first half, right now they have balance. And when you have balance, running and passing, good things typically like this tend to happen. You put yourself in advantageous down and distance, and they can pick it up. 1
receiver right, nobody out, left bunch formation. This is a handoff. Abdus Salam with maybe a yard before he is gang tackled. They're going to give him a yard up the right hash, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 9. 12:15 to go, clock running here in half number 1. Neither team has used a timeout yet. Miami leading 3-0 over Western Michigan here from Yager Stadium. RedHawks looking to extend upon this lengthy win streak here at Yager. But against a Bronco team that has had their number. The losing streak going since 2004 is the longest against any MAC opponent for Miami. 2nd down and 9 for Western. They've got 2 receivers left, 1 right. From the shotgun, Bourget gets the snap, fakes the handoff up the middle, throws far side, passes bobbled and dropped incomplete, intended for Galloway up the far sideline. That ball was on the money there from Bourget, and that's one that Galloway is definitely going to want to have back.
Yeah, he had the ball right in his hands. Again, if you're Miami here, the thing that's worrisome right now is time of possession. Feels like Western Michigan's had the ball for the majority of the first half. But again, that was a simple outplay that just went off the hands of Galloway.
Bowling Green killed Miami last week in time of possession. Falcons ran the clock down on nearly every play. 3rd down and 9 here for the Broncos. 2 receivers left, 1 right in the pistol formation. Bourget is going to step up and give a call out to his offensive line. Now in the shotgun. Bourget drops back, looking to throw. Pressure coming in his face. He fires a high ball that'll fly into the Miami sideline, incomplete. Intended for Anthony Sambucci. But that one nowhere close. Tough play there. Had some hands in the face of Bourget.
Yeah, great pressure by Corey Suttle and Brian Ugu just getting in the face of Salaplek.
And so the 4th down will mean the punt team is back on. Jalen Walker back deep to return for Miami. Nick Mahalik will boot this one away for Western. Walker cutting through the middle, now dropping back. Jalen Walker still on his feet, not making a whole lot of progress forward though. Finally, he is stopped with a wall of defenders at the Miami 44. But a solid return there from Jalen Walker. And again, the effort pretty high on that one to pick up only about 10 yards. He probably ran 25 or 30, but you love to see that from one of your vets in Jalen Walker. And Miami's going to have solid field position here to start this drive.
Yeah, it looked like Jalen Walker might have went to the Devin Hester, Deshaun Jackson punt return school there. That was kind of a back and forth zig and zag. But again, it's the effort level, right? On special teams, you have a starting wide receiver giving that much effort to get great field position. It's just the offense here has got to get kind of some
So they got the chains down in Michigan with all 3 timeouts. Currently at the Western Michigan 45, approaching midfield, knocking on the door. Handoff, bouncing it towards the outside, and no room to run for Abdus Salam. He is slammed down. Brian Ugu, the defensive end, making another tackle for loss. It's a loss of 1 on the play, and it'll set up a 3rd and long.
Yeah, Luke, it seems like Miami's defense has adjusted. When they go in those trips and they're trying to spread the defense out, it seems like they want to come back inside and run those counter plays with either Sean Tyler, try to get the running backs to come back inside.
Abdus Salam will stay in the game in the backfield. 1 receiver left, 2 to the right for this 3rd and 11. Once again, Western Michigan going to give a hard count in the pistol and now switch to the shotgun. Bourget gets the snap, play fake, pressure coming. Bourget in trouble, able to escape the pocket to the near side, and he is brought down. It looked like it might have been by the horse collar, and now the flags come in.
It's either going to be a horse collar or a face mask, it looked like.
Bourget did a good job to escape, and just when you thought he was out of the woods, from out of nowhere, you just kind of saw his head snap back, and then he was thrown violently to the turf. And so this may give Western an automatic first down, and it'll negate a really nice defensive play for Miami on the sack. Looked like that might have been Ryan McWood who made the play for the RedHawks.
Yeah, it was great effort. The problem is they just let him, get break contained there. And when that happens, you tend to sometimes get guys chasing him.
Horse collar tackle will be called on Caden Woolard, the defensive end. Only had one tackle last week, and that's not going to be a penalty that Coach Martin's going to like one bit. Fresh set of downs, and it moves Western into Miami territory, extends the drive.
No, and it's so frustrating as a defender. You've played so hard here so far. I mean, the amount of snaps, I can't even imagine how many times the Miami defense has been on, and just to give them a gift like that, it's really a tough pill to swallow.
So the ball moves to the Miami 41. One receiver left, two to the right. From the gun, Bourget gets the snap, handoff up the middle. Abdus Salam with a little bit of room to run, and he falls forward for a couple of yards. They'll say threes. He's marked down at the Miami 38. Abdus Salam has carried much of the weight. He's kind of been third on the depth chart behind Sean Tyler and Michigan State transfer Ladarius Jefferson. Jefferson had a season low last week in yards with only 4 on 2 attempts. And Abdus Salam has been punching above his weight at the top of the depth chart here this afternoon. 2nd down and 7. 2 receivers right, 1 left from the shotgun. They're going to fake it and now throw to the near side, and that pass falls incomplete. It was thrown behind Corey Crooms, who was positioned right at the 30-yard line on the numbers. Would have been enough for a first down, but a bad throw there, and it will bring up a 3rd and 7.
Yeah, it seems like the Western Michigan offense is getting to this similar play call where it's either a first down inside run, a second down pass. But if you can get them on first down to just have maybe a 1 or 2 yard rush, it puts Miami in these ideal situations where it's a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 10. Make them throw to beat you.
3rd down and 7 with the ball resting on the Miami 38. Wind is at the Broncos' back, but likely going to need at least a few yards for a field goal. Already missed 1. 3 receivers right, 1 to the left. Broncos going to hand this one off. Abdus Salam makes his way across the 35, and he is wrapped up at the 34 and brought down. Tackle made on the play by Austin Ertl for Miami. 6'2", 290 defensive tackle. And we see a change of personnel. It looks like we are going to see the field goal team on, and that will be the case.
Yeah,
so how about this call from Tim Lester?
Yeah, you'd have to believe that was either going to be, this is 4-down territory, or they're going to kick a field goal. With this wind we've had recently, this is kind of a surprising decision to do.
Bounce it outside.
Defensive line is kind of controlling the line of scrimmage. These up-the-middle zone plays don't seem like they're really getting many positive yards. I would try to abandon that for
maybe 4-down territory. It'll be a 30-second timeout taken by the menu coming up at halftime. Zach Rengers will have our Red Hawk Radio halftime report. Scores from around the Mid-American Conference, around the country. Analysis and highlights from our first half. That all coming up on our Red Hawk Radio halftime report. Territory here for the Red Hawks, or maybe do you want to pin Western Michigan deep if you don't get this?
Well, so far, Coach Martin on the last drive, he was kind of erred on the side of caution and punted away. You're in a 3-3, like we just mentioned, a slugfest kind of game. There's not been.
It's going to be a handoff up the middle into this week. It'll be a loss of 3.
Now it's a punt situation. And it's been really frustrating in the run game. It just seems like there's either been leakage on the left side of the offensive line, or where these free rushers are coming through, they're just blowing right up the middle. Offensive line, or where these free rushers are coming through, they're just blowing right up the middle. So at halftime, that's going to be something they're going to have to adjust. Either abandon the inside zone run game entirely, or you're going to have to find some other avenue to run the ball. I know you need to maintain balance, but the three and outs, these short possessions are really putting your defense in a.
Jobin gets the snap, kick is away, and this one's shanked off the right side of his foot.
Yeah, look, we've had some wind.
Punting from left to right.
To stay the starting quarterback going forward. Only 1 for 1 yard thus far. That was that nice kick by Jobin early in the first half that really set up the Miami defense well. Mihalik for punt 81 yards. Not a bad day for him at all. He's going to look to keep that up, and that's really going to be the two Western Michigan's forward session has been seconds to Miami.
Broncos after the gain of 7, third down, and it will fly into the end zone over the head of Jalen Walker for a touchback. The Miami offense will head back out onto the field, and it's really just not been their afternoon. They just have not moved the football. It's felt very sluggish. We thought maybe Brett Gabbert being inserted into the lineup would inject some life into them after they go outside. Now swerving back in, maybe got a yard.
Yeah, there's two things here, Luke. I mean, this is only a 10.
After the 1-yard rush from Tyree Shelton.
Miami, I might steal a little bit from the Western Michigan playbook of these quick passes. These just get the ball out of Brett Gabbert's hands fast. Not a whole lot of thinking need to be done. Just know your one read and get it out of his hands. Because right now the offense and the run game has really stagnated and have any luck of running the ball.
And back in coverage, looked like Ryan Kilberg, the safe.
What the route was there, because that was just almost a punt to the other team, and they're lucky Delano Ware did not bring that ball in.
So.
Yeah, I think disaster finally struck on offense. You know, you can survive for a little bit with just these sacks.
First turnover of the game for either team. And the Broncos will have it 1st and 10 for the Miami 32. We'll take the snap, hand this one off, or rather keep it around the edge. Fake the handoff to Tyler. He's got some room. Scampers inside at 25, close to the 20. They're going to mark him out of bounds. And they're going to move the chains. Gain of 10. Tackle made by Jacquez Warren.
Yeah, it's a great play call by Western Michigan. All day on first down, they ran the ball inside, and finally, Bourget decides to keep it, and you have a hell of a lot of running room on that side. It's just doing the little things right is what Western Michigan has done, and doing the little things right.
Who will pound up the middle for a couple of yards. They'll mark him at the 20, gain of 2. So 2nd down and 8 coming up. Clock bleeds under 5 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. And the Broncos' lead is up to 10 points.
Yeah, and if you're Miami, you have to wonder at some point if you can just get out of this your traditional.
Fakes the throw and now goes deep, and that pass falls incomplete. The intended target there was Corey Crooms, who was too busy hand fighting there with a Red Hawk defensive back. That may have been Javon Kimpson, and it was, who was back in coverage.
That's a great job by Kimpson. All day they've ran that hitch route, but then they finally run the stop and go, and Kimpson knows to stay in phase with his receiver and break it up.
So a big 3rd down for the Miami defense with the ball right on the 20-yard line. Three receivers out right, 1 left.
If you're Miami's defense, you got to contain to the pocket with Bourget. He's shown an ability to escape and run on this down and distance. You got to maintain the pocket.
Bourget back to throw. He will look over the middle, and that one falls incomplete. Just threw it behind the intended target there. That was Crooms, who was running a slant. That one flew all the way to the sideline. And the RedHawks, like you said, bend but don't break. Now here comes the field goal team.
Yeah, huge, absolutely huge. This game is still not out of reach, despite if they get the field goal here. You still have opportunities on offense, you know. It's really, the last possession was kind of a disaster, but there's still opportunities here for this offense. It's just all about execution.
This will be a 37-yard attempt for Palmer Domsky. Kick is up, and it is good. Snuck it inside the right goalpost. And Western has extended their lead. It's 16-3 with 4:24 to go. So Miami's set to get the ball back. Disaster has struck for the RedHawks. We'll see what the response is when we return. This is Miami Football on Red Hawk Radio. 4:24 to go here in the third quarter. Luquez Poley, Patrick Holland alongside. Miami trailing 16-3. Okay, Patrick, turn the ball over in your own end of the field, but your defense comes through with about as much as you can ask them to do. Western Michigan comes away with 3, not 7, and it's still a 2-score game. So what's the mindset now for this offense after you maybe tried to go deep, tried to look for that big play, and it wasn't there, and then you turn the ball over right afterwards? Still feels like you need some.
Happen. You know, if you start to panic and try to make Hail Mary type throws, you know, get out of your lane and not do your job, that's when those bad mistakes tend to happen. I know it hasn't looked great so far, but you got to know you have good leaders on this offense. Somebody, you know, a Brett Gabbert has got to step up and make some plays here because, again, you're only down by.
Kickoff is away, and he's had over the years at Miami, and some that he's really thrived on in the second half. One that really comes to mind, although the RedHawks didn't even win, was the game against Ohio last year, where I believe he threw for over 400 yards in one half. That was an unbelievable effort last year from Brett.
We're going to need some of that magic that happened in that second half.
2 receivers left, 1 right. Gabbert collapsed once. Now a second time he'll get the snap. Gabbert looking to throw, slings it out for Hippenhammer. Catch is made at the 30. He is dragged out of bounds and thrown down. There's the flag. Kenai Lovely back in coverage, and an undisciplined play there from Lovely. A 5-yard gain is going to turn into a 20-yard.
Yeah, I think that's the 3rd defensive penalty thus far in this half. You know, it's only been 2 possessions so far, but Western Michigan defense has been giving you some, you know, just big-time mistakes on penalties.
And the officials are talking over it now. And now we'll get our call.
Wonder now bled into the defense, and it's just becoming really lacking any sort of, you know, I don't want to say lack of fight, but they're just really becoming discombobulated.
Bourget with 2 receivers to the right will hand this one off to Tyler, able to push the line for some extra yardage after he first met contact out to the 36, where he is will stay on the sideline, but that is how our third quarter will come to an end. It was not an ideal one for the RedHawks. They gave up 10 points against, and they trail by 13. Broncos looking to make it more on the line for the RedHawks. Backs against the wall. This is Miami Football on Red Hawk Radio. On the line here at Yager Stadium. 15 more minutes to fight. Broncos with a 13-point lead have it at the Miami 36. 2nd down and 6. 15 minutes on the clock. Both teams with all 3 timeouts.
Looks like with Harbowski in there, I would be leaning heavily towards run.
Harbowski in at quarterback, as Patrick mentioned. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Harbowski going to fake the run and take it himself. And he will get maybe a yard. First met contact in the backfield as Javon Kimpson got back there for Miami. And he will bring him.
Time stop.
3rd down and 5 from the Miami 35-yard line. Bourget gets the snap. He'll hand off to Tyler. Not a lot of room, and Tyler's brought down. Able to pick for Paul Radomski.
Huge stop right there. You know, if they get a field goal here, it's a problem still, but, you know, not getting – it seems like the Miami special teams might be having some trouble subbing. But, you know, as I was saying, you know, not giving up a touchdown here is huge still.
3 for 4 today is Domsky. His one miss came when he kicked from left to right, as he is right now. 51-yarder, low snap, and the kick is short. Second missed field goal forced by Miami, and that's huge. Really feel that keeps you in the game for the RedHawks.
You just need something, right? I mean, we've been searching for some sort of moment where you can get some sort of momentum. It seemed like the snap there might have hit the ground and then just an error in placing it, and that's what led to the short kick. But, I mean, Western Michigan has given you opportunities. It's just, can Miami really capitalize on them? And thus far, they haven't. You still have 13, you know, almost, you know, 13 and 30 seconds here to go. Let's see what they can put together.
So Miami down by 13 with 13:36 to go here in quarter number 4. Still plenty of time, but the RedHawks need to get going. Brett Gabbert's got the helmet on, getting some throws in. Looked good in that last drive, but just couldn't finish the job. So Miami was stopped on a 4th down. You mentioned, Patrick, earlier on in the broadcast that it felt like when Miami got towards and across midfield, it almost felt like their offense stopped on that last drive. A little similar to that. They got a little deeper into Western territory, but as soon as you start approaching the red zone, not a whole lot of production. Yeah,
it seems like early on in the possessions, they do these nice drive starting plays, these quick hitches, quick outs, similar to what Western Michigan has been doing, you know, just doing the routine things routinely. But once they get past midfield, they just get hammered. You know, you need one of your veteran guys to make a big-time play here.
So they're in immediate timeout. We'll keep you here for it. Game in Buffalo just went final. Miami hockey completes the sweep over Canisius. Good stuff there from the. You hate to say it's one of the biggest of the year that early in the season, but it losses against UMass last weekend. Champion Pios. Patrick Geshin, Jack Schmelzinger, and I will have the call of that series next weekend. Patrick Geshin, Jack Schmelzinger, and I will have the call of that series next weekend. Very excited for that.
Yeah, it should be a good measuring stick game for Chris Bergeron.
Definitely. Into Western Michigan territory, crashing and banging inside the 40. He's slammed down at the 39-yard line.
That's what you need on early first down plays. Getting a big chunk play like that is huge. It seemed like it was just a breakdown by the linebacker, number 27 on Western Michigan.
Gabbert looking to throw once again. Now the pocket collapsing. Gabbert's got room to run up the middle, and he will find his way all the way down to the 32, where he will give a slide, and he will be marked down there. No chances taken from Brett Gabbert. That was how he was hurt in the game against Kentucky. Escaping the pocket, trying to run, broke his collarbone. But right back to it. Miami going, hurry up. They're going to throw this one out. Catch made by Cold Iron, and he scampers inside the WMU 20. Miami will move the chains. And this is the trademark offense we've seen in years past with Brett Gabbert and Chuck Martin. Move the chains, get up to the line quickly, and get that ball snapped. Right back to it. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Gabbert gets the snap. Looking end zone intended for Miles Marshall, and it's broken up. Really good coverage there from Kenai Lovely. He's been one-on-one with Mac Hippenhammer a lot this afternoon. That time paired up with Miles Marshall. And good blanket coverage there in the corner of the end zone.
Yeah, Lovely's doing a great job of, you know, against different type of body types too. You got Miles Marshall, who's more of your traditional possession receiver, a big guy. Hippenhammer, a little bit of more of a shifty, quick, smaller guy. And he hasn't gotten a pass interference or anything, or holding or anything. He's been really impressive.
So Miami tried to catch the Broncos back on their heels a bit there, but a big breakup from Kenai Lovely gives the Broncos a chance to gather their bearings. 2nd down and 10 from the 21-yard line. 3 receivers right, 1 left. From the shotgun, Gabbert gets the snap, looking to throw. Pocket collapsing. Gabbert steps up, room to run. Gabbert inside the 15, inside the 10, and he will slide down. They're going to say his slide began at the 11, but it will still be a pickup of 10 yards, and that'll move the chains. It's another Miami first down.
Again, this up-tempo offense is really starting to cause Western Michigan problems. You see them on the sideline having issues subbing.
And they're right back to the line. Handoff up the middle for Kenny Tracy. Got a couple of yards. He will be brought down at the 9, forced into the backfield. Forward progress gets him inside the 10. It'll bring up a 2nd and 8.
Now, Luke, we kind of peel the curtain all the way back to the first quarter. That opening drive, same situation here. The field shrinks. Can you convert when the field starts to get small and your playbook has to shrink? That's what's going to have to happen here. It seems like we might have a Red Hawk down.
Yeah, that's Colby Borders.
I think it's going to be next man up mentality.
Yeah.
Forward here.
So for the RedHawks, they've got the ball at the WMU 9-yard line. They're taking an immediate timeout. We will keep you here for it. This is a crucial point in the game here, Pat. It almost felt like you were out of it. I mean, you were thinking about it on that third down play with Miami back defensively. Maybe 4 or 5 yards it seemed like out of the game. If Western Michigan converts that, even picks up some more yards, gets closer for their kicker, you're talking a 16-point game, which is 2 scores, yes, but that's going to be really difficult to make up with a couple of touchdowns and 2 points. Instead, you force the big stop on 3rd and 5. You make the Broncos attempt a long field goal, and now your offense churning down the field, and you could potentially cut this to a touchdown if you're able to find the end zone, but that is a big if, like you said. This really looks like that first drive, and you'd hope it have a different result here for the RedHawks.
Yeah, look, I mean, you just feel like everybody here in Yager has been kind of waiting and begging for some sort of moment to root for. It just has been like a really silent atmosphere from the sideline all the way up. You know, I think this is your opportunity here to just, you know, you get a touchdown here, and you're only down by 6 points with 12, 10, 12 minutes to go. I mean, Miami, if you told them right now, they'd take it in a minute, you know, based on the last couple quarters. So you are not out of this ballgame in any way, shape, or form. It's just going to have to come down to executing in the red zone, which on the first drive they didn't. Can they make a play here? If I'm Chuck Martin and Eric Cole, I'm putting the ball in Brett Gabbert's hands and telling him, you know, give us a play of some sort, whether with his legs of the last couple plays or in it, you know, with his arm.
Yeah, it's so interesting what MAC football does to these teams. Both coaches emphasized in their preview press conferences earlier this week that they wanted to get those big chunk plays. They needed a couple of them that neither really had in both losses last week. But it's funny sometimes how in this league the game plan just gets thrown out the window because truly neither team has really had any huge plays. You think Western Michigan, maybe the touchdown, maybe the fumble, but nothing massive to give a tidal wave to one side or the other.
That's kind of the beautiful thing about football. You know, we go in thinking one thing is going to be the case, and we get the total opposite. But once again, you have an opportunity here.
Huge chance for the RedHawks. 2nd and 8 from the 9, coming out of the injury timeout. 12:05 to go. Clock will begin ticking. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Gabbert gets the snap, looking to throw, going to fire it back in the end zone for Jalen Walker, and it's incomplete. Walker got a paw on it. Back shoulder throw was a little bit offline there from Brett Gabbert. And now a tough 3rd down here, 8 yards to pick up the first, and 9 yards to the goal line.
Yeah, this is, you know, really a tough play to make there. You know, maybe if you're Brett Gabbert, you like to throw the ball a little earlier there just to give Jalen Walker a chance because, but again, he gave him the opportunity, whether it's either Jalen Walker makes the catch or nobody does, which you like to see out of a veteran quarterback like Brett. But Chuck Martin's going to have a decision to make here. If they don't score, do you take the 3 points and make it a 10-point game? It's going to have to be a question.
3rd down and 8. Play clock at 7. Gabbert gets the snap, looking over the middle. That one is incomplete. And it was intended for Matt Kippenhammer. Went through his hands. Kenai Lovely was right there with his hand in. And decision time for Chuck Martin.
Yeah, Luke, I would have loved to see. I just felt like that play was a little rushed right there. I don't know if that was the best thing they could have done right there, just throwing a slant. It just seems like, once again, these red zone opportunities, the offense has just really started to stagnate. I don't know what that's coming from, if it's the play calling or just guys not executing, but it seems like they made the decision and they're going to go for it on 4th and 8.
RedHawks offense stays on the field. 4th and 8 from the 9-yard line. Gabbert gets the snap, rolls right, looking to throw. He pumps, play still alive. Now he's got room to run left, and Brett Gabbert is into the end zone. Oh my goodness, what a play. Miami touchdown. Brett Gabbert goes rogue, cut back through the line up the left hash. And Brett rushes it in 9 yards, doing it himself. And that's what you need out of your big leader in Brett Gabbert. How's that for a TD?
We've continued to say here, and it's been the message all day, put the ball into your best player's hands and let him make a play. Brett Gabbert just did. I typically don't love to see a rollout play in the red zone like that. It cuts half the field off, but Gabbert made it work.
Graham Nicholson on for the extra point. Snap is good, hold is down, and the kick is true. What a play. A game saver, you could say, from Brett Gabbert. And Miami finally finds the end zone. 16-10 our score, and we got a game once again as some of the energy has been reinserted here to Yager Stadium. 11:44 to go. Don't go away. It's going to be a fun finish here from Oxford. This is Miami Football on Red Hawk Radio. 11:44 to go. Luke West, Poley, Patrick Holland alongside. And man, Pat, we got a game. This has been not the most entertaining of games for sure, but sometimes that's what you get from action. It's been a slugfest throughout, and you can never count the RedHawks out of it. We've learned too many times from that over the past couple of years. Do not count out Brett Gabbard.
Yeah, if football was a three-quarter game, we wouldn't have been really happy with Miami's performance today, but it's not. You get a fourth quarter, and you get a great opportunity like this to potentially win a game. You put yourself only down by 6 points. I mean, let's see what Miami, now you also have given the defense some reason to go out there and really fight. I mean, when you see your offense really sputter like that for that long of a period of time, it starts to really weigh on the defensive guys. Now they have some reason to really fight and, bite down on their mouthpiece, and let's see if we can get a win.
With the sun setting here, Graham Nicholson sets the ball on the tee. And he will kick this one away. Up the left side, unreturnable out the back of the end zone. And Western Michigan will start from their own 25. So now you haven't really had to have a response necessarily on the Western Michigan side to any Miami momentum all game long, but now is the time. And, we made it seem like Miami was nearly out of this game for so long, but if you're Western Michigan, this is an awkward lead to have at 6 points, because if you give up a punt and then a touchdown on the other side, you could find yourselves down really quickly.
It seemed like Western Michigan, for the good majority of this game, has allowed the ball to be in Miami's court and say, beat us. You make a play to beat us. But now it's Western Michigan's chance to see what they can do. And now all the momentum is not in their hands.
Bourget gets the snap. It's a handoff to Sean Tyler. Not a whole lot. He's swallowed up. No gain. Or now maybe a yard, but still nothing too crazy for Sean Tyler, who's gotten more touches in the second half after being largely held off the field. Western Michigan's leading rusher. It'll bring up a 2nd and 9. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Bourget, as customary, will take the hard count from the pistol, now moving to the shotgun. Bourget gets the snap, going to fake the handoff, throws far side, and that's just a miscommunication, incomplete. Threw that intended for Crooms, who was gunning it upfield, and that ball landed probably 10 yards behind him on the turf. And just like that, it's 3rd and 9.
We're in the ideal down and distance, right? You get a chance to maybe, if you want to blitz a guy, get home to the passer, because it's been, for Western Michigan, we've talked about these 3rd and shorts. They're now going to have to throw to get it. And what the good thing about that play is an incomplete pass, you stop the clock, right? And the clock here as we move forward is going to be your enemy right now.
3rd and 9. Crowd on their feet, bells tolling. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Getting the snap, Bourget dropping back, looking for the home run, and it's underthrown, and it's nearly intercepted, but instead it'll fall incomplete. Javon Kimpson, frustrated he couldn't come down with that underthrown ball, but still a win for this Red Hawk defense. They're going to force a 3 and out, and they're going to put the ball back in Brett Gabbard's hands.
And again, what I just said, I think only 20 seconds, if that, has really run off the play clock since we kicked off there for that Western Michigan possession. You're going to need time. You still have a lot of time to work with, about 11 minutes, but just a great defensive response. And like we've talked about, when your offense gives your defense a reason to keep fighting, those guys are going to show up and really show out.
Nick Mahalik punting into the wind from left to right with 10:59 to go. Jalen Walker back deep for the RedHawks with the ball on the Western Michigan 26. Snap is away. Kick is off. High spiraling kick. Jalen Walker calls for the fair catch, and he will make it at the Miami 31. And that is where the offense will take over, 1st and 10. Whole new ball game as Brett Gabbard comes back out onto the field on the other side of this media timeout. You can feel something building here, Pat, coming up here from Yager Stadium. 16-10, our score. Miami looking to take the lead once again when we return. This is Miami Football on Red Hawk Radio. 10:52 to go here at Yager Stadium. Lucas Poley, Patrick Holland alongside. 16-10, Broncos on top, but the momentum on Miami's side as the offense retakes the field. Brett Gabbert returns, and really a couple of drives you can feel good about, probably for the first time all game, Patrick.
Yeah, Luke, I agree. And we just were talking in the break here. You know, this is a guy as a freshman who went into Kinnick Stadium in Iowa and put up a really great fight as a true freshman. You can't really teach a guy to be clutch in a moment. He either has it or he doesn't. And
Brett Gabbert's a guy who certainly has it. Back to pass. He's going to run up the middle. A hole through the line. Gabbert out across the 40 and 45, sliding at the 47-yard line. It's a pickup of 15. And Brett Gabbert continuing to just do his thing. We saw it on that big fourth down conversion on the tail end of that last drive. He looks unfazed right now. It's a first down, RedHawks.
Yeah, the RedHawks really struggle to get the ball running in a conventional way with their backs, but it seems like of late, the last couple possessions, Gabbert with his feet is picking up a ton of chunk plays.
With the ball on the 47 of Miami. Two receivers left, one right for Brett Gabbert in the shotgun. 1st and 10 RedHawks. 10:24 to go here in the fourth rather. Gabbert back to pass, and again he's going to try to run, moving forward. Steps up in the pocket. Actually, he's going to be dropped for a loss of about a yard, and so it will be a sack on the play.
I almost wonder if that was a broken play, or is that a design quarterback draw?
Another sack credited to Corbin Moment. He's been very, very good, the linebacker for Western Michigan this afternoon.
Yeah, and you have to wonder, too, if Western Michigan might just designate a player to spy Gabbert, because he's really killing him with his feet.
2nd down and 11. Pass outside is caught by Jack Coldiron for a medium gain. He's pushed way back, but he gets in to WMU territory. He'll get down to the 49, and this will set up a 3rd down and medium for the RedHawks. After the pickup of 5, it'll be a 3rd and 6.
Yeah, that's teaching type throw from Brett Gabbert. When you're throwing it out like that, his head wasn't even around yet, and the ball was right there in his hands. Perfect throw by Brett. Again, you're in a 3rd and manageable now. You have to wonder if maybe his feet again.
Yeah, all 3 receivers left, nobody out right. Now a rusher sent out wide. Gabbert's going to throw to the near side. Catch is made by Jalen Walker, and he finds a seam up the middle. Jalen Walker with a 1st down and more inside the 40, down to the 36. Little screen play, almost broke up a little bit. Jalen Walker nearly got lost in the traffic, but instead he's able to find a small hole, and he bursts through it. 1st down, RedHawks. Back up to the line. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Man in the backfield is Kenny Tracy. Gabbert back to throw. He finds Tracy on the left side, who will move ahead for a couple of yards before being twisted out of bounds there by Zaire Barnes. Leading tackler on the Western Michigan squad will bring out Tracy after a pickup of 2 yards.
Yeah, going back to that tunnel screen a couple plays ago by Jalen Walker, you know, it was blocked really well, but Walker's ability to be so shifty there, run so hard, he gave him some extra yards with his creativity there.
Clock bleeds under 8:30. 2 receivers on either side. Gabbert gets the snap, looking to throw. Now again, he's going to try to use his legs, but he is dropped. Really good job on the end of the line there for Western Michigan. It looked like that may have been Warren Dabney who got the tackle. No, it's Braden Fisk. I beg your pardon. One of the leaders in tackles for loss brings Gabbert down after a loss of 2. Gabbert had some room to run, too. That could have been a dangerous play, but instead now a 3rd and 10 for the RedHawks. 2 receivers on either side with Gabbert in the gun with the clock under 8 minutes. Gabbert claps, gets the snap. Rusher coming off the edges, blocked. Gabbert swallowed back, and he will be sacked. Right out at the 48-yard line, the pass rush came heavy and hard for Western Michigan, and they will bring down Brett Gabbert with a huge loss. It's Moment again who gets to Gabbert. Loss of 10, and the punt team is on.
Yeah, well, it's not a game-ending type drive where you can't get the points there. It does hurt, but you still have your 3 timeouts. Still, you know, they're going to give it the ball with about 7 minutes to go. Your defense is still playing inspired, but that's a tough way for that drive to end. It just seemed like Western Michigan made an adjustment there to stop his run. And a beauty of a punt by Dom Jobin, rolls inside the 10. Unreturnable. Dom Jobin, we've seen the cannon that leg holds all season long. He hasn't really unleashed it tonight, but really good control from him. And it's going to be good field position for the Miami defense to work with, trying to force a quick stop
and get the ball back into their offense's hands. The ball on the 9-yard line. They're going to bring the Western Michigan offense right back out. 7:07 to go. As Pat mentioned, 3 timeouts for Miami to work with should they need them, although we look to be a few minutes away from that at least.
Yeah, Luke, and typically with this formation, where we get the trips to the right side, I think Western Michigan's going to bring that running back, that counter play they've typically run with this formation.
It is Tyler in the backfield, and he will get the handoff. Tyler up the middle is stopped short, and he's not going to have a gain, and now the ball is loose. They called his forward progress down. Miami's got it in the end zone. Javon Kimpson had it, but the ruling on the field is going to be that the forward progress was stopped after a short gain. And boy, oh boy, that could have been a huge turn of the tides.
Yeah, as I was mentioning earlier, I wanted to see more people try to punch the ball, strip the football, and it seemed like right there that whistle was blown awfully soon for that to be blown as forward progress. I'm kind of surprised there.
They're showing it up on the video board, and the crowd is not happy.
Now, you have to ask, was Tyler down there when the ball rolled out? I'm not sure.
2nd down and 9. Of course, with the call on the field being forward progress, it's not reviewable. 2nd down and 9 with 3 receivers left. They're going to hand it off to Tyler again. Around the left side, a flag comes in, an obvious hold there as he's brought down after no gain. But this may back the Broncos up further. Player along the edge for Miami that looked like it was Ryan McWood. You could see his jersey get pulled all the way from up here, and that flag came in immediately.
Yeah, and it was a great job by McWood, a veteran player, of also selling that too. It was a clear hold, but he did a really good job of it.
And the RedHawks are actually going to decline it. Because there was no gain, it'll bring up a 3rd and 9. And so it's a big play now for the Miami defense. They got a big 3rd down stop in the past couple of drives. Gonna need some more of that magic here. They're gonna call a gain of 1 now and move the spot up, so it's 3rd and 8.
Yeah, Bourget has struggled throwing these balls to the deep to the hashes, so I wonder if they're going to call a screen, some sort of quick game pass. I don't know if it's going to be a deep shot to get beyond the sticks. I'd watch out for a screen if I'm the Miami defense.
2 receivers left, 1 right. Bourget claps twice, gets the snap, play clock at 4. Bourget jumping back into his own end zone, facing heavy pressure. Pass is caught in some space, but brought down short of the line again is Galloway. Really good open field tackle, desperation type of move there from Ryan McWood. And it's going to be 4th down.
It's a similar play that they ran earlier, Luke. They got burned on it earlier where they ran that strong delay, wait, ran the simple mesh route concept. That time Ryan McWood, a veteran player, got across as a linebacker, gunned it down there and made a great tackle. That's going to give Miami the ball back. Unbelievable play.
So likely some good field position. Wind has calmed down, but still blowing in the face of Nick Mahalik. Jalen Walker back deep, standing at his own 41-yard line. Snap is low, pressure coming, and the kick is high. It is not a good kick. It'll land on the Western Michigan side of the field, and it's actually going to be fair caught, as racing up was Jalen Walker, and he will make the fair catch signal and will down it at the 44-yard line of the Broncos. Really good field position here for Miami with 5:18 to go. And all 3 timeouts. You need 7 here if you're the RedHawks as we get into the later goings.
Yeah, despite the one big-time mistake they had on the roughing the kicker, where it gave Western Michigan the 3 points before the end of the half, their special teams unit has been getting home, and that right there, the result of getting pressure, has given Miami the ball on the other side of the 50. Excellent job. Yeah,
Chuck Martin teams have traditionally been so good on special teams, and that Miami punt coverage has been fantastic all year long. Gabbard on 1st down, gets the snap, plenty of time to throw, looking for a home run to Hippenhammer, and that will fall incomplete, overthrown. Miami sideline looking for a flag. They're not going to get it.
Yeah, and you now can see on Western Michigan, they're sitting 2 linebackers there keeping an eye on Gabbard. They are not going to get beat with him running the ball. You can maybe make an argument there for pass interference, but I do think the ball was a little bit overthrown.
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit overzealous there from Gabbard. Had Hippenhammer in one-on-one. Hippenhammer maybe had half a step on the defensive back, but he was going to have to lay out for that football. Tried to. But now a 2nd and 10 for the RedHawks. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Gabbard gets the snap. Pocket collapsing. Gabbard steps up, fires a high shot that flies incomplete over the head of Reginald Virgil, the intended target, who has not been targeted really at all today. And that not really just a very good throw from Brett Gabbert. It was in a tight window and a little on the safe side, which you like to see from your quarterback to not give the defensive backs a chance, but didn't really give his receiver a whole lot to work with either.
Yeah, I think, Luke, with Brett, you're seeing a couple things happen here. You're seeing a guy who hasn't played in about a month or so that's working his way back. And a lot of these throws just seem like they're just timing issues, right? Somebody that hasn't played in a little while. I think with time, Brett's going to start making these throws again.
2 receivers left, 1 right for this 3rd and 10 from the Western 44. Rush coming in off the edge. Gabbert is swallowed. Again, the pass rush for the Broncos comes through. It's Andre Carter with the sack. Brett is dropped all the way back to his own side of the field. They'll mark him down at the 49. And really unideal after such a good stop defensively, so much good field position for your offense. You end up losing yardage net on that drive, and you're going to have to punt it away back to the Broncos.
Yeah, it seemed like Carter almost knew the snapper. I mean, he was right there. It almost seemed like he jumped off sides. He got so fast there to Brett Gabbert.
High kick, fair catch is called for, and it is made inside the 10. Another good punt from Dom Jobin, who's really coming through when the RedHawks need him. Anthony Sambucci will make the fair catch signal, and they will mark him at the 9, exactly where WMU started their last drive from.
Sorry, Luke.
No, you're all good.
If Miami can't find a way to win this game, their offense, special teams are going to have to give the defensive guys some sort of award for the effort they put out there. There's been a couple breakdowns on defense, but for the most part, they're the reason they are in this football game still.
Yeah, that's been a theme in the losses for Miami. It's just been the defense holding for as long as they can, but when the offense just can't really produce when you need them to, it's so difficult to win. But they're going to, again, ask their defense for a big stop. 4:24 to go. RedHawks with all 3 timeouts. Broncos working from their own 9-yard line, 1st and 10. Trayson Bourget with 2 receivers left, 1 right. Brings a man in motion. It's going to be a handoff up the middle for Sean Tyler. Got through the line, but was met pretty heavily with linebacker coverage after a couple yards, and he will be brought down after a gain of 3.
Once again, Luke, that was Ryan McWood putting his nose in there. When the game is really kind of seemed like it's on the edge here, you need your veteran players to really make big plays, and he has.
Like you said, Patrick, this game seems to be teetering on the edge right now. And the Miami defense, it feels like they're going to have to play mistake-free football from here on out.
Yeah, and if you're Chuck Martin, you need to watch the clock here, too, with your 3 timeouts. Just making sure you have enough time with Brett Gabbert.
Clock's under 4 minutes now with 3:45 and counting. 3 receivers right, nobody out left. In the gun, Bourget waiting. Now he'll get the snap. It's another handoff, or rather a keeper, but it was read well. Fooled me up here, but not the Miami defense. Trayson Bourget, no gain, brought down on the play, right on the outside of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, once again, based on what Western Michigan's the play calling and how they've operated in this quarter, I think they're taking the mindset of Miami, you beat us. You, Brett Gabbert, you're going to have to make a play to win this game. They're not going to take a whole lot of chances here. They want to just see if they can run the ball, take this game to the very end. But they're making Miami say, can you beat us?
3rd down and 6. Broncos are going to bring this clock under 3 minutes. RedHawks going to keep all their timeouts in the pocket. 3 receivers right, nobody out left. Play clock under 10. Bourget gets the snap. He's going to hand it off, and Sean Tyler's second effort. He's still going. Sean Tyler breaks into the secondary, and he is out to the 40-yard line. Huge gain there from Sean Tyler. They're going to mark him down at the 38. It's a gain of 25, and really a killer there for the Miami defense. They had him wrapped up, but just couldn't quite finish him off and snuff that play out. And now the timeouts are going to have to start coming out for the RedHawks. 1st and 10 from the 39. Western Michigan's going to bring this clock down to about 2:10.
Yeah, I think this series of downs here is going to be where this game's won and
Yep.
lost.
1 receiver on either side. In the pistol formation.
Up front, can the white helmets take it to the brown helmets? We're about to find out.
Play clock at 2. Handoff. Tyler, maybe a yard or 2 before he's brought down. 2:11 to go, and a timeout called by Chuck Martin. So the RedHawks will call their first timeout, and it'll be a 30-second timeout with 2:11 to go. Miami trailing 16-10. Broncos have it 2nd down and 9 from their own 40-yard line. And, you know, you'd like to You wouldn't like to, but there maybe some people would point fingers at that defense after that play, but it's just been so tough. The phrase wearing down comes to mind for that Miami defense, as they've just been asked to do so much, not only in this game, but week in and week out.
Yeah, Luke, I agree 100%. You know, you keep your defense on the field for as many snaps. I'd love to see the final numbers in terms of time of possession and just overall snaps that this defense has faced. At some point, they just really cannot maintain that much level of defense. So
3 receivers right out of the timeout. Nobody out left for the 2nd and 9. Clock sits at 2:11 to go. Miami with a pair of timeouts. Borge gets the snap, hands it off. Tyler pushing, got maybe a yard. But again, it's swallowed up by that defensive line of the RedHawks, and another timeout comes out from Chuck Martin. 7 seconds run off the clock. 2:04 to go as the Broncos will take on a 3rd and 8.
yeah, I think that might have been Salim there on the carry, because right now Sean Tyler has just been gashing him of late. So again, we keep talking about the defense, but this is the money type of possession where I know we've asked a lot, but we just need to ask a little more here to get this stop.
And you talk about Western Michigan letting Miami kind of try and beat them. So you got to imagine it's going to be a run here. They're going to try to make Miami use that last timeout and kick the ball away to the RedHawks. If Miami was able to get a stop, you'd be looking at 2 minutes to work with no timeouts on offense.
Yeah, if I'm Chuck Martin, I'm telling my defense, watch the quarterback keeper in this football. They might give the illusion they're going to run the ball again with Sean Tyler, and he'll pull it. So this is a big ask of your defense, Ryan McWood. Maintain your discipline, read your keys, and do not let this quarterback get outside if he does keep it.
3rd and 8, 3 receivers right. Miami loading the box. Tyler in the backfield. The quarterback is going to keep it here, like you mentioned, around the edge, breaking the first tackle, now the second, but is brought down after a gain of a couple of yards there. Trayson Borge able to get out to about the 45, but he's going to be 4 yards short. Bit of a scare there for the RedHawks defense, but job done. Miami going to call their final timeout with 2:01 to go, and they're going to set to get this ball back.
Yeah, Luke, you saw the first missed tackle there for a second. You got a little worried he was going to break it on the edge there, but I don't know if it was McWood or one of the linebackers shot over there and got him down. This is the moment you ask of Brett Gabbert in the offense to step up and really come to the plate. 2-minute warning. You want the ball in your best player's hands, and you're going to have the opportunity here.
No timeouts, but 2 minutes feels like plenty of time to work with for the RedHawks. Jalen Walker will be back deep. You know, Western Michigan's going to bring that protection back on the punting side of things, but for Miami, can you ask your punt coverage team to maybe give you one more big play?
Also, beware of a fake just in case they're maybe trying to get you out of here. I'd be on alert for a fake.
Western Michigan in their max protection. Mahalik waits and kicks it away. Backing up is Jalen Walker, and he's going to let this one bounce over his head. This is a really good kick, bouncing straight to the side at the 9. It will be downed by Western Michigan. A lot of time came off the clock, down to 1:49, and a near perfect punt there from Mahalik.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely perfect. It just dropped and stopped right on the 10-yard line. That's what you want out of your punter. Again, the offense, you still have all your plays at all your playbook at the disposal here. You want to do a lot of things towards the hashes, though. You still can do stuff in the middle of the field, but tempo and getting to the line of scrimmage is going to be crucial.
1:49 to go and no timeouts for the RedHawks. On their own 9-yard line, they're going to need to go 91 yards. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Kenny Tracy in the backfield alongside Brett Gabbert to his right. Gabbert gets the snap. Pressure coming. Gabbert steps up and just tosses this one into the first row on the far side, incomplete.
I'd have to wonder, is that grounding? I'm not sure if I saw a receiver in the area, and he still was within the box.
Yeah, Gabbert did not make any move, really couldn't make any move to get out of the pocket there. It just kind of collapsed around him. The officials are not formally discussing, just kind of standing and looking at each other. But it looks like they are going to call intentional grounding. There was a receiver on that side, but that receiver was way upfield and not really in that area, you could say, for Brett Gabbert. And so the RedHawks are going to be backed up. Good news is he was not in his end zone, but he was at the 1.
Right. Yeah, it seems like all day Miami's been really pressured on both sides of their tackles. That's going to be something in future games. They're going to have to really look at why that keeps happening.
So a loss of down makes it 2nd and a mile. 18 yards to the line again. Gabbert steps back, throws, finds Miles Marshall. He's got the catch at around the 13, able to get outside the 15 and get out of bounds. And it'll set up a 3rd and 3 here for the RedHawks with 1:39 to go. Clock stopped after Miles Marshall gets out of bounds. Good awareness there from the Miami receiver.
Even better throw by Brett Gabbert.
Yeah.
You're not going to see many college quarterbacks. I mean, NFL quarterbacks struggle backpedaling to their end zone to get that much momentum to throw the ball. That's really impressive stuff.
So after the gain of 15, 3rd down and 3. Gabbert gets the snap, looking to throw. He's going to throw a quick curl to Marshall, who's got the catch. Still on his feet, Miles Marshall out to the 27-yard line. Clock will stop as the chains get set. It's a 1st down for the RedHawks. Miami 1st down. Ball brought out to the 27. And way offside there was Miles Marshall. A miscommunication as the snap was given.
It seemed like, I can hear from the Miami sideline, they were having issues with the ref. They set the ball and then they didn't snap it. But
they're going to call a false start, not an offside. So maybe it was just some issue with movement. But it's going to be another penalty that the RedHawks really can't afford. You can only get yourself out of so many of those holes that you dig. It'll bring them back to the 22. 1st and 15, 1:30 to go. RedHawks with no timeouts.
yeah, they're not making it easy, but going 90 yards to start with is a challenge.
3 receivers right, 1 left. Gabbert gets the snap, looking for Marshall, and he finds him right at the sticks. Marshall able to back out of bounds. He had a man on his ankles. That was Garner, and what a play there by Miles Marshall to stay on his feet and touch that sideline before he went down.
Yeah, another great route by Miles Marshall and another great throw by Brett Gabbert. Marshall's head wasn't even turned around, the ball was in his hands.
RedHawks are going to go quick, even though they got the clock stopped. Going to want to keep that Western defense on their heels. Quick pitch and catch over the middle. Marshall moving forward. He's got the 1st down. He's out to the 48-yard line. He'll move the chains. 1:11 to go. And a fresh set of downs here for the RedHawks.
Great job with ball security by Miles Marshall. Maintaining 2 hands of contact on that football is crucial.
Gabbert gets the snap again. Pass rush coming. Gabbert gets ahead. Brett Gabbert still on his feet, and he's able to get the 1st down. Ball comes out late, and looks like Miami might have caught a break. Looks like they have it. They're going to run the clock here for now. I wouldn't be surprised if they want to review this. Miami runs up to the line.
I think Western Michigan has an injured player, so this is going to stop anyway.
So that was a weird play. Brett Gabbert decided to not slide as he needed the 1st down to stop that clock. There is a Western Michigan player down that'll stop the clock with 47 seconds to go. Gabbert looked like he was very close to being down. That ball came out. There were 2 Western Michigan defenders that had a chance to recover it. Neither of them did. That ball came back behind the sticks, and Miami recovered. And so the official will clarify the call. And that's going to elicit a 10-second runoff.
But that shouldn't. But Miami's being penalized for that. That's not correct. If it was Miami, that 10-second runoff would occur. But Western Michigan, that's not right.
Miami faithful, of course, pleading their case. Chuck Martin's starting to make his way over out of the huddle. The entire Miami huddle is faced towards the officials right now. And now they're going to reset it. So the RedHawks had a 10-second runoff option, and they will say that Miami declines it. Obviously, they will, needing every second. It'll be 2nd down and 1 for the RedHawks with 48 seconds to go. But yeah, Gabbert was close to being down. There were 2 Western Michigan defenders that could have had that fumble. Neither picked it up as Gabbert was trying to get across the 1st down marker to get the clock stopped while the chains moved. But instead, the ball came back behind the 1st down marker, so it'll be a 2nd and 1 for the RedHawks as an offensive lineman was able to recover it. And Miami's still alive for now.
Yeah, it's a huge recovery, first of all. I mean, it keeps the game alive. But, I mean, I wish you could review it, too, because I really was unsure if Gabbert was down or not.
It really looked like there was a good chance of him being down. And you got to think if Western Michigan recovered that fumble, they review everything.
Right.
So they probably would have had an on-field review. But now the clock going to move. Miami set on the line. 2 receivers right. Gabbert gets the snap, looking on the out route. That one falls incomplete.
Luke, that's a great thing that pass was not caught there. He was not going to be, I don't think it was going to be a 1st down.
And so
And the clock would have kept moving, too.
Cold Iron was the intended target. There's 44 seconds left. This is now a pretty awkward situation for Miami to be in because it's third and probably a foot. You want to air the ball out, but you also may be looking at a fourth down if you don't get it. Miami's looking to throw. They're going to find out wide. Miles Marshall makes the catch inside the 35. He's out of bounds at the 34. And, hey, I guess it doesn't matter.
Right. You know, you talk about Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers in the NFL. That's that type of throw right there where you can just gun it across your body all the way to the other side of the field. Really impressive throw.
So Miami marching down the field, 34 yards to the goal line. 40 seconds remaining. RedHawks with no timeouts. Two receivers to either side. Kenny Tracy in the backfield along with Brett Gabbert in the shotgun. Gabbert gets the snap. Gabbert dropping back. He's in some trouble, and he's able to get that one away. That time, Gabbert took a shot, but he was able to get out of the tackle box. And so it will not be grounding. 2nd and 10 coming up. 5 seconds come off the clock. Good awareness there from Brett to not try to extend that play too much. If you know you're not going to get anything, you might as well just save that clock.
Yeah, really smart decision by a veteran quarterback. You know, if you get sacked there, and then you immediately have to start getting back to the line of scrimmage, throw it away, you're outside the box, live to see another day.
35 seconds remaining. Ball in the 34, 2nd and 10 for the RedHawks. 3 receivers right, 1 left. In the gun. Gabbert gets the snap. Dropping back, looking deep. Gabbert airs this one out for Hippenhammer, and he overshot him. Man, Hippenhammer had a step there. Back in coverage was Dorian Jackson. There was some safety help that was on the way, but hadn't arrived yet. That ball just a tad overthrown, though. Now a 3rd and 10 here for the RedHawks with 30 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Luke, it's been the case all day. It just seems like on those deep shots, Brett Gabbert and his receivers have just not been in sync yet. And I think that's probably a timing thing. You figure it out as he gets to start again, get back in games. But right now it just hasn't connected.
So Western Michigan's got 3 high safeties. Broncos would hate to get beat over the top in this situation. 3rd and 10 with 30 seconds to go. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Gabbert waiting, now gets the snap. Gabbert looking far side, in some trouble. Gabbert escapes, able to get a couple of yards, but he is tackled down, and now Miami's got to hurry. 20 seconds left. Miami's going to have to get up to the line of scrimmage, and it's 4th down, so they can't clock the football. 13 seconds remaining.
They got to get
4th down and 6. Miami's got to get this snap off. 10 seconds to go now. Gabbert gets the snap. Gabbert looking, and that pass is tipped and intercepted. They're going to call it incomplete, but it won't matter with 3 seconds to go. Western Michigan takes over on downs, and the Broncos are going to live here in Oxford. Oh, so close for the RedHawks, but it wasn't meant to be. Brett Gabbert's pass was batted at the line, intended for Jack Coldiron. And with 3 seconds to go, the Broncos are going to down this football and escape Oxford with their 3rd win of the season.
Yeah, just a little too late to really get that type of thing going there at the end. You know, you had your chance. You had a lot of chances today to get something going on offense, but it's just a little too late to ask for it today, and they're not going to win.
So lined up is Bourget with 3 seconds left, no timeouts for Miami, and he will take that knee. Big win for Western Michigan on the road. It was not how anybody drew it up, but the Broncos are going to survive here late. 16-10 is your final. Western Michigan is 3-5 on the year. They improved to 2-2 in the MAC. Miami 1-3 in the Mid-American Conference now, suffering their 3rd conference loss of the year. And it's going to be an uphill battle to bowl eligibility for Miami as they will fall to 3-5 on the year. Going to need to go 3-1 in their final 4 games to clinch that bowl. Pat, this was a game that really lacked a lot of energy, a lot of kind of excitement, I guess you could say, until the final minutes. Miami was close at the end of the day, but, you know, sometimes the clutch can't pull you through games where you just don't have a good performance straight up.
I think this is a lesson for this football team. You got to start early, and you got to start getting momentum fast early in a game. You know, it took too long and too much out of a defense and an offense to just finally put it together in the last couple minutes. It's not a winning strategy. It's not a winning way to have success. So Miami's going to have to, you know, the fight is still there in this team. That last couple minutes there showed it that they're not, nobody's giving up, nobody's quitting. But this team has got to find ways to win football games and put it together and have a, you know, offense, defense, and special teams all put together in one game and get a win, which they absolutely need.
Miami will be back in action next Saturday against Akron. We will not have that game, but it will be televised on the networks of ESPN. Thanks for tuning in. Time for the post game. Here's Zach Rengers.
Thank you, Luke. Unfortunate way to end the game there for Miami. It just a little bit of push, but not quite enough to outlast the Broncos from Western Michigan. Really, the storyline of the game had to be the trenches. It was dominated by the Broncos all night long, and that just kept going on. We saw the Schaffer ejection earlier in the game. Then they finally got a little bit of energy, had that nice drive that ended up in a Miami touchdown, but in the end it was just not enough, and that was where the game was won for the Broncos, simply dominating in the trenches, and that's what you're going to see. We saw a very stagnant first half that ended in a 6-3 score in favor of the Western Michigan Broncos. They had a lot of energy coming into the second half, got a touchdown early from Tyler. That was 7:15 in the third. Then we saw Miami start to get the wheels rolling a little bit with a Mac Hippenhammer catch on the sideline once Brett Gabbert finally started to get his rhythm going. But at the end, they got killed in that drive, were unable to come away with any points, turned it over on fourth down to Western Michigan, and then we saw Western Michigan start to bleed the clock a little bit. We saw a little push of Miami momentum with that Brett Gabbert rushing touchdown. That's really what saved the game early on in the fourth, and they needed that. But at the end of the day, if you don't win the trenches, you can't win the game, especially in the MAC Conference. Like Luke said, that drops Miami to 3-5 overall. Western Michigan improves to 3-5 overall as well. Both teams are set at 2-2 in the MAC, dead set at 500. And like Luke said, if a bowl game is in the future of one of these teams, they're going to need to run the gamut going down the stretch. Really an uneventful game here. Miami tried to extend to 16 games here at Yager, 16 straight. We're unable to do so at Western Michigan. They just came out with a better game plan. Miami came out flat, and that was just the key to the game going down the stretch. Just not much energy from the RedHawks, and it showed in a big way tonight at Yager Stadium. That'll about wrap it up. Not much to say other than just not an impressive showing from Miami. It was good to see Brett Gabbert back in the shotgun for Miami, but other than that, not a whole lot of highlights for the game for Miami. Got close at the end, but in the end, it will be a Western Michigan win. The streak for Western Michigan improves to 8 straight games, and they have still not lost to Miami since 2004. Our score here from Yager Stadium, 16, Western Michigan, Miami 10. As always, thank you for tuning in to Red Hawk Radio, and have a safe night.